You know that person who leaves you exhausted after 10 minutes? Your body feels heavy. Your mind goes foggy. Even your breath becomes shallow. Most people think it's just stress. But Ibn Arabi, the 13th century mystic, saw something else. He called it spiritual bleeding. When someone drains you, they're pulling from your light. And today, you'll learn exactly how to stop it. Here's what's really happening. Every human carries divine light. Ibn Arabi called it noor. This light sustains you, gives you clarity, vitality, presence. But some people feed on the light of others, not through magic, through attention, through emotional demand, through what he called the hooks of need. Think about it. You sit with a friend for coffee. Within minutes, they're complaining. Same problems, same wounds, same loop. You listen, you care. But when you leave, your chest feels tight. Your shoulders ache. That's not empathy. That's energy transfer. Their emptiness pulled from your fullness. Ibn Arabi identified 3 types: the unconscious taker, the wounded void, the deliberate extractor. Each drains differently. Each needs different protection. And by minute 5, you'll know exactly what to do about each one. First type, the unconscious taker. They don't know what they're doing. They walk into a room and the atmosphere shifts. People suddenly feel tired. These are individuals who never learned to generate their own light. Trauma extinguished it early, or they were never taught to connect to the divine source within. So they survive by proximity. They stand near those who shine and absorb what spills over. You've met them. The colleague who needs one more favor, the relative who calls only when they want something, the friend who never asks how you are. After every interaction, you feel less, not because they're bad, because they're disconnected from source, and your light rushes to fill their emptiness automatically. Second type, the wounded void. These are people trapped in deep suffering. Their pain is real, their wounds legitimate. But the wound became identity. They organized their entire being around it. Ibn Arabi observed that when suffering becomes identity, it creates gravitational pull, like a collapsed star bending space. Everyone near them gets pulled into orbit of that pain. Every conversation curves back to their loss. Every topic becomes a reminder. Every joy in your life highlights their absence. You want to help, but you leave feeling like you've been drowning. That's the void effect. Their unprocessed pain consuming all light that comes near. Third type, the deliberate extractor, rare but real. Individuals who consciously learn to harvest energy from others. Ibn Arabi described them as those who inverted the natural flow. Instead of receiving light from the divine source, they extract it from other humans. They're skilled. They know exactly what to say to create reaction, anger, guilt, fear. Because emotional turbulence makes your energy field permeable. When you're calm, your light stays within. When you're agitated, it leaks out. And they position themselves to catch what spills. You'll recognize them by this. After speaking with them, you feel confused. You question yourself. You replay the conversation obsessively. Nothing they said was overtly cruel. Yet you feel violated. That's extraction. They took your presence, your clarity, your light. Now here's how you stop all 3. Not through walls, not through fear, through awareness. Ibn Arabi taught that you cannot be drained if you remain connected to source. 3 methods. First method, remember where your light comes from. Most people believe energy comes from food, sleep, exercise. These help the body. But your essential light comes from one place. Direct connection to the divine. Ibn Arabi called this the vertical axis. Most people live only on the horizontal axis, getting energy from people, achievements, validation. When the horizontal fails, they collapse. But those connected to the vertical axis cannot be depleted. The source is infinite. When you understand this, everything changes. That draining person across from you has no power over your light, unless you forget your source. The moment you remember that your energy flows from the infinite, their pull weakens. Not because you built a wall, because you redirected attention to where light truly originates. Here's the practice. Before any interaction with a draining person, take 3 breaths. With each breath, say inwardly, "My light flows from the source, not from this person, not from this conversation, from the eternal." Do this and watch. Within seconds, you'll feel different. Anchored, clear. That's the vertical axis activating. Second method, witness without absorbing. Ibn Arabi taught something he called the inner sanctuary. When someone speaks their pain to you, instead of letting it enter your chest, you redirect it immediately to this sanctuary within. You listen, you care, you witness. But the pain doesn't lodge in you. Think of yourself as a window. Light passes through you. You see it, you allow it, but you don't try to hold it. You don't try to fix it. It moves through you and continues upward. That destination is always the divine. Every pain ultimately seeks return to light. Your job isn't to be the light. Your job is to be transparent. Next time someone drains you, try this. As they speak, visualize their words entering your heart and immediately rising upward. Don't block them. Don't resist. Just redirect. Let them pass through to something higher. Within minutes, the heaviness doesn't accumulate. You remain clear because you're not holding what was never yours to hold. Third method, boundary from fullness, not from anger. Most people either have no boundaries or they build walls of resentment. Neither works. Ibn Arabi taught boundaries from presence. When you're connected to Source, you naturally know when to engage and when to withdraw. Not from judgment, from clarity. You can say no without cruelty. You can create distance without coldness. When you're full, connected, clear, your no is gentle, firm, clean. Here's how this looks. Someone calls for the 5th time this week. Same crisis, same drama. Old pattern? You answer out of guilt. You listen for an hour. You give advice they won't take. You hang up exhausted. New pattern? Before answering, you pause. 3 breaths. Connect to Source. Ask yourself, am I meant to engage right now? If the answer is no, you don't answer, or you answer briefly. I care about you. I can't talk right now. I'm available tomorrow for 20 minutes. That's it. The person might be upset. They might call you selfish. But here's what Ibn Arabi understood. Real help doesn't come from depletion. If you give from emptiness, you create dependency. They learn to feed on you instead of connecting to their own source. When you apply these 3 methods, something shifts. First week, you notice you're less exhausted. The people who used to drain you still try, but the hook doesn't catch anymore. You're present with them, but not entangled. Your energy stays inside. You finish conversations and realize, I still feel clear. I still feel full. Month 1, the change deepens. Some draining people naturally fall away, not because you push them, but because when you stop feeding the pattern dissolves. They either begin their own healing or they find someone else to drain, and you realize this was never personal. They weren't targeting you. They were just hungry and you were available. Now you're no longer available in that way. Month 3, you understand what Ibn Arabi meant by spiritual maturity. It's not about being untouchable. It's about maintaining connection to Source so strongly that you can be present with anyone without losing yourself. You can sit with someone in deep pain and hold space without their pain becoming yours. You can witness darkness without being darkened. You can love people without being consumed. This is what he spent his life teaching. Protection isn't separation. Protection is presence. When you know where your light comes from, no one can take it. They can ask, they can demand, they can manipulate, but they cannot extract what you consciously guard. Not through walls, through awareness. Remember when we asked why certain people drain your energy? Now you understand. They're not draining you. You're giving light away because you forgot your source. The moment you remember, the moment you reconnect, the drain stops. Not because they changed, because you did. Ibn Arabi taught that every encounter is a mirror. The people who drain you show you where you're disconnected from the vertical axis, where you're seeking energy from others instead of receiving it from the infinite, where you're trying to be someone's savior instead of being a clear window for divine light. The world isn't full of vampires trying to destroy you. The world is full of people who forgot their source, just like you sometimes forget yours. When you remember, you help them remember, not by letting them drain you, but by showing them through your presence that another way exists. The path is clear. Know your source. Witness without absorbing. Boundary from fullness. These 3 methods protect you while keeping your heart open. And when your heart is open, but your light is guarded, you become what Ibn Arabi called walking mercy. Someone who can be with anyone without being diminished by anyone. If this reached something in you, share it with someone who feels constantly drained. This isn't just information, it's a key. And some people are ready for it right now.